So Cochise for Audioslave, Hurt by Johnny Cage, Closer for Nine
Johnny
Inch Nails.
Cage?
Johnny Cage. Johnny Cash. Let me try that again.
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage. He's a Mortal Kombat character.
I know.
So let's try that again.
Well, hello there. Welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura, and I am joined by my co-host Ryan.
Hello.
Hey Ryan, are you excited to talk about the 2002 drama slash thriller? Yeah. You can't say thriller, can you? Do it again.
I've never been able to. Well, I've got problem with any word that has TH or like accompanied with an R or like an L. Like I have real problems saying the number 3.
What?
3 or 33. I have the issues with those
Okay.
words. And thriller, like I really have to work to say thriller.
So like you're never going to do Michael Jackson's Thriller during karaoke.
No, but we spoke about I did the exact same thing during the John Landis episode about, American Werewolf in London. Did the exact same thing about, and I was like, and it's like, it's like I have severe issues pronouncing things. It's fine. I mean, it's only a disability.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, the thriller that we're talking about today is 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah.
Starring Robin Williams, Connie Nielsen, Michael Vartan, and I like to just put Gary Cole in there because I like Gary Cole, and directed by Mark Romanek.
Yeah. Gary Cole. Oh, no, I was mixing him up with Gary Coleman.
Different Gary.
Yeah, different
Very
Gary.
different Gary.
Yeah.
Gary
Very
Coleman
different
in the role of the Save Mart manager would be kind of incredible.
It would be.
Yeah.
Bit of comedy relief.
I mean, the whole Gary Cole thing is a comedy.
Yeah.
relief.
There's not a lot of comedy in this movie. But
Disagree.
oh, okay. But do you want me to talk about Mark Romanek?
I would love for you to
Wanna
do
get
that.
Get that out of the way first. So Mark Romanek, let's say in short, he's quite a prolific music video director. He's made a whole bunch of music videos. His career basically starts with his first feature film, as far as I'm aware, which was Static in 1985. And because of what Static, I'd be interested to see Static. I've not seen a copy of it anywhere. It's basically about a TV that's able to look at heaven and show pictures from heaven.
Oh, God.
So interesting stuff.
1985 that came out. Wow.
The year we were born.
Indeed.
So God knows how old Mark Romanek is. But
Older
yes.
than I thought.
Yeah, seemingly. So anyway, off the back of Static, I think David Bowie, he was in London at the time. I think that's where Static is actually set. He was in London at the time, and David Bowie saw that film, and he ended up doing some music videos for David Bowie.
Oh, that's so cool.
But in terms of his like filmography and stuff, for the most part, like you will have seen a couple, if not a lot, of Mark Romanek's music videos. Cochise by Audioslave, Hurt for Johnny Cash, Closer for Nine Inch Nails, Can't Stop for Red Hot Chili Peppers, Criminal for Fiona Apple, and probably most notably is Scream for obviously Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, which I still think to this day is the most expensive music video ever made. I'm not too sure if it is or not, but at the time I think it was a ridiculous like $7 million budget.
Wow.
And yeah. So you'll definitely have seen his stuff, and that's something he's definitely doing. He works a lot in TV, does a lot of commercials, does a lot of music video stuff. I would say with these films, because he's only ever had 3 films made, completed, and released, even though he's attached to at least countless other films over the course of his career.
Right.
He's incredibly unlucky when it comes to film projects. And that's for like a variety of different reasons. So some of the things that he has been attached to at any one point was in 2007, he was set to direct The Wolfman I think budgetary reasons, he wasn't able to carry on with the filming of that.
The Benicio?
The Benicio del Toro Wolfman movie. Another film called A Cold Case in 2005. A Million Little Pieces in 2005. They're just to count a few. But for the most part...
Wasn't another one of them Cinderella?
No idea.
I read that Cinderella he was meant to do, and I don't know which one that ended up becoming, because I know there is one Cinderella live action that has come out in the last 10 years.
As in the fairy tale Cinderella?
Correct.
Huh. Okay.
And it's fine, but I think that what kept happening with him is that he had a vision, and I think that all of the studios were a little bit afraid that he would put too much art, too much vision of his own on these films.
There is something I would say, and I would say that from looking at his work, because I haven't got any issues with his work in general. He seems to be particularly picky and quite a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't see there being any problem with that, and I think there's plenty of other directors out there who hold that. But then I guess that's what you get. You get what you pay for. And why not be a little bit picky if you're spending millions of dollars on someone to give you something in particular. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess this guy just does not want to follow through on something unless it's perfect. And I think that's fine. So in terms of his film stuff, Static's 85, 1 hour photos, slap bang in the middle. He's only got 3. Slap bang in the middle in 2002. And after that, and it's his last one that we know of, is Never Let Me Go, which was in 2010, which kind of harkens back to Trainspotting and to 28 Days Later, because it includes a lot of the figureheads from the Danny Boyle opus. So you got Andrew McDonald, who produces it. Alex Garland is writing Never Let Me Go.
Hell yeah.
Interesting stuff. But we're talking about 1 hour photo today, and
yeah, we are.
Yeah. So what is 1 hour photo about, Laura?
Okay, I'm gonna read you the summary or the synopsis from. I always say that it's not a summary, because that's me wrapping up the whole film. It's a synopsis.
It's a synopsis. It's always been the synopsis.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like a summary because I can see it from over here, and it's it looks like it's 2 paragraphs.
It's way too big.
Yeah. So I'm
you ready?
Yeah. Well, guys, strap in, because this is when I take a drink.
This is 5 pages long.
Yeah, this is when I listen.
Synopsis.
Yeah.
Cy, the photo guy Parrish, has lovingly developed photos for the Yorkin family since their son was a baby. But as the Yorkins' lives become fuller, Cy's only... That is a typo. Okay, let me fix that for Letterboxd.
Okay.
Cy only seems lonelier until he eventually believes he's a part of their family. When Uncle Cy's picture-perfect fantasy collides with an ugly dose of reality, what happens next has the spine-tingling elements of the best psychological thrillers.
See...
It's a mix of a review...
And the back of a fucking DVD box.
Yeah.
Yeah. What it needs to be is it needs to be completely rewritten.
Oh, yeah.
But let's just say, in short, that it's mostly correct.
We have a sociopath.
We have a sociopath who is a 1 hour photo technician worker who's been doing this one family's photos for
10 years?
Basically. So from the moment their child's born.
Yeah.
And he's 9. He's 9 years old.
Oh, right.
In the movie. But yeah, he's obviously gotten fixated and fascinated with this one family to the point where he's latched on to them over the course of this 9 years, feeling like he's a part of their family because he's sharing their intimate family moments through their pictures. So, who's in this movie, Laura?
I already told you.
Oh.
In the beginning. Robin Williams, Michael Vartan, Connie Nielsen, Gary Cole. But do you want to hear the tagline? This tagline is bonkers.
Oh, okay.
It makes no sense.
All right.
The things that we fear the most have already happened to us.
Doesn't make any sense.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Like, what are they? I have no clue how to even break that down. Who
Well, like
made that tagline? Like, the things that we
marketing
fear
department, things that we fear the
most have already happened to us.
I'm trying to come up with a joke as well.
I mean, the thing that I fear the
the
most
toilet.
is, well, I was going to say, Robin Williams taking a shit on my toilet while I'm not home.
That's pretty nasty. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. I don't know. That's kind of like, I have a problem with that the same way I have a problem with the film title The Day After Tomorrow. It's strange, it's weird, it's unappealing, it's also kind of like a little bit cryptic, and it also has absolutely nothing to do with the plot of this film, like, whatsoever. You'd think, like, kind of by our initial reaction, and I guess, like, I mean, I quite like this film.
Yeah, it was such a strange one when it came out because you have such a departure from a typical Robin Williams vehicle, and he's getting to be in this strange role, this kind of sociopathic, psychopathic, disturbed human being.
This is certainly not. This isn't a first for Robin Williams either, but I would say that this is probably the most understated Robin Williams we've had. Because, like, if we think about just like Robin Williams and Robin Williams roles and things, and we think about, like, you know, massive dramatic roles for Robin Williams, I mean, there's Jack for starters. But obviously, I'd say his best role in a drama would probably be Good Will Hunting.
Yeah,
to be honest, and I think like what we get out of him in this movie as well is there are little flourishes of comedy, but they're just very kind of quiet, a quiet version of Robin Williams. So he's not bouncing off the fucking walls like, you know, we're kind of used to seeing him, where it's, you know, 1,000 words a minute, and it's a bit madcap. You know, it's all very kind of understated, and he's particularly well hidden through the production design. Oh gosh,
yeah, he's completely beige.
Yeah,
he's a completely beige human being.
I mean, they've basically used this smudge tool, like, in every single shot that he's in, because he just blends in. So basically, his whole visage and the way that he dresses and the way that he is that he just completely blends into the background. And I think that's particularly clever, and I think it's particularly effective in this film.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Even seeing him when he's in his apartment and he's just standing there and everything is just neutral colors, and it's like you can't even see him standing there. And the way that he dyes his hair, like he bleached his hair blonde, which is really unsettling.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another person's, that, because one of the things that's in Takeshi Kitano dyes his hair blonde for Zatoichi, his version of Zatoichi.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was quite strange, because Zatoichi's usually bald. And he's a dark-haired guy. I'm trying to think of another one. Things like Johnny Lee Miller's coming to mind, but his hair's already quite light anyway.
Oh, right.
like Sick Boy, because he's got bleached blonde hair in that movie. Yeah, no.
I mean, those aren't unsettling to me. Those are just, it's just odd to see, you know, bleach blonde hair, especially on Robin Williams, because it's like, you can't even see it really. It blends into his head. Yeah. He said he bought, I'm sure he didn't buy them, but he got these shoes that were very squeaky, so it would kind of give him this weird feel. Okay. And he wanted those I don't know, there's like metal framed, those metal rimmed glasses. So he kind of made what his character looked like. Yeah. Himself, just to kind of get himself in the weird role.
Yeah, he's the best thing in this film, to be fair. I think he does a very...
I don't know. In my opinion, he's the only thing in this film other than Gary Cole.
Oh, okay.
I fucking love Gary Cole.
He is the best. He is the best thing in this film.
He's the best manager. He's the best thing about Office Space. He's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, Gary Cole's role's very...
Yeah, wasn't he in one of the Brady Bunch movies?
Probably, yeah.
He's like Carol's ex-husband they thought died. He's fantastic all the time.
I think he's probably in a bunch of other stuff.
He's in a ton of things.
You know, he's not in like Happiness or anything, is he?
Oh my god, I hope not.
No.
I mean, He's in Talladega Nights. He's in Pineapple Express.
Is he into Live and Die in L.A.?
He's in your favorite thing, In the Line of Fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do like that movie. That best bit where like Clint Eastwood's at that piano and he just starts playing.
I know he's
as
not.
time goes by.
Okay, well that's cool. Well, he's great.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, no, he's real good in the movie. But I guess like what we're kind of getting at is certainly like you look at the way the film looks. I think the film looks great. I think every frame feels quite meticulous and planned out and incredibly well sought after. Jeff Cronenweth shot this one.
I was waiting for you to bring him up.
Yeah. He's more Fincher's DP. His dad, his father, Jordan Cronenweth, shot my favorite film of all time, Blade Runner. Yeah. So
one of my other favorite cronies.
Yes.
Not a Berg, but a Weth.
Yes. But he's mainly like Jeff Cronenweth's mainly Fincher's DP, but for the most part, Cronenweth works with I would say a bunch of like music video alumni sort of directors.
Yeah.
So he's got a very particular look, and I kind of feel like that's what adds a lot of the depth to 1 Hour Photo, because I feel like with 1 Hour Photo, it's mostly style over substance.
Well, yeah, and I think that there's been interviews with Romanek who's kind of said the same thing. He says that he wished that he had more time to work on the script. But it looks great. There's some really cool shots. You know that shot where he's like having that dream sequence, and then like it's like ink, like red ink or like blood comes out of his eyeballs.
Yeah, it's the magenta. Like from the
photo
printer.
And he said that there was a lot more kind of weird scenes like that with like the color red throughout, but he ended up cutting them because I think he said he was a little bit worried about with the audience. Like he didn't want to go too far.
Yeah.
But he said later on, he's like, it would have been great. Like it would have been fine. Maybe you should have kept it in.
Yeah, probably. I feel like there's kind of massive issues with just some of the line delivery and just with some of the acting in general. The only person I feel is quite solid is Robin Williams. Yeah. But I do feel like the materials the materials a little bit thin. Yeah. Personally.
Yeah. But the story itself is scary, and it has elements of that, at least in the dream sequence, which, if you haven't seen it already, the first time you watch it, you don't know what's happening, and they definitely set it up to make you feel uncomfortable when Cy goes into the Yorkins' house.
Yes.
And he's
walking
around.
It's a beautiful house as well.
It's one of those very architecturally beautiful.
And this was something built. I didn't realize as well, is their front door is very strange.
Oh.
It's kind of like it opens like it's a sideways door, so it has like two separate openings and the door's in the middle of the doorway. So it's kind of like it's like something you would get at like a bank.
I don't know if it's like a Frank Lloyd Wright type of house. I actually didn't look that up.
Yeah, it's an incredibly. Here's the thing, I don't know, like.
And what is he, like a fucking graphic designer or something?
It's like he's a graphic designer or an architect. I thought he was an architect. He's working.
Why is he building chairs on his computer? And he's like, I'm so busy.
Yeah, he must be making like
designing chairs.
Well, it looks like he designs chairs for IKEA. Now, that's really not a problem, but at the same time, I'm kind of like...
Does IKEA pay that much money to their designers?
I would say not, but at the same time, what he looked like he was designing was just a plastic frame with a couple, like, 4 metal legs. And you kind of look at it and you're like...
He was so stressed. Yeah. Honey, baby, I can't. I'm so busy.
He's like, look, I'm too busy looking at the chair from this upwards angle.
His fucking spinning so hard on my computer screen.
Yeah, because that's why later on Will Yorkin's got to go to Save Mart, get himself some cables to try and stop the chair from spinning so much. It's crazy.
This computer program's out of control.
And I mean, they have an argument at one point about money, so you kind of get this idea, like, this family... Where they get their money from or not, like, it's not particularly well explained, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
Just him.
They have a quite...
chair design.
Yeah, well, I don't think... Yeah, the wife doesn't fucking work, because that's what they argue about.
She's spending all her time at Save Mart.
That's one of my things as well, though, is obviously Save Mart and the way that that Gary Cole's like the manager, he's like marketing the place.
Hell yeah.
You know, he talks about the families and people are there. Like Save Mart is basically a Walmart.
Yeah, no, it looks like a Walmart 'cause they have those little blue vests.
Yeah, well, it's very much kind of penned that way. At least I feel like it is. So, like, for them to have this amount of money to the sort of house that they have, I mean, it just looks like a fucking optical illusion. Looks like Escher designed the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it has stairways on the roof. So I'm like, you're kind of like, why the fuck is she shopping at Save Mart?
You gotta pinch your pennies, baby.
I guess you gotta pinch your pennies, but I mean, supposedly they are pinching pennies because she wants to buy a second fucking Mercedes. Or whatever. I guess that's like where the writing starts to kind of fall apart somewhere as well. It's like they
should have given him a better job. I'm confused, but
they should have gave him a better job, or at least like the job he's doing should have been explained a little bit more so you kind of understand like what it is. Because for the most part, he's at no point ever not wearing the casual man's dress. You know what I mean?
Well, you've seen when you have someone that's uber rich,
they
don't dress like they're uber rich. They dress like they're.
We can't have respect for someone who's in business who doesn't have shoelaces on his shoes. He looks like he wears slip-ons.
Oh, like the loafers.
He's wearing loafers the entire time.
He makes enough money to go on sexy Caribbean vacations with his lover.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, that's the thing.
Who's on the company softball team?
The Yorkins family life is disintegrating. And I guess, like, this is the thing that we begin to figure out as the story goes on, is that what you see in the pictures doesn't necessarily reflect what they're doing in their everyday lives.
Oh my god. I mean, that's just a metaphor. Or not even. It's just a straight up how it is in life now.
Yeah.
That's always how it's been. You only take pictures of your wonderful moments.
Yeah.
And you never take pictures of your sad moments.
This is
Same as now. Same with Instagram. Same with everything.
Moments. Yeah, this is pre-Instagram. The film is told primarily from Sai's perspective, and it's relatively quite warped.
You get a little bit of insight, back and forth with a narrative in terms of seeing what Nina is up to in the household, obviously, and what's going on in their lives. But the thing that kicks off this whole manic episode is obviously Sai is looking through everyone's photos in the photo studio. But what he doesn't know is a woman shows up who is actually the husband Will's mistress.
Yeah.
She drops off some photos.
Maya Burson.
She's acting a little sketchy. And he's like, I know you from somewhere. You're so familiar. And when he looks through her photos, she's got a lot of sexy photos with Papa Yorkin.
Yeah. We've already kind of been introduced, like, Sai's kind of introduction to us is like, and certainly the introduction of his job, and that we get a kind of idea of what his working week looks like, is that I think the only two things that they'll ever report on are child abuse and animal abuse, if they see those photos. But everything else,
like child pornography.
Yeah, so everything else that comes through their door and they have to process is completely fine. So sexy photos.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yeah, because there's that guy that shows up who is an amateur porn photographer.
Yeah.
And but he's
amateur
like, it's fine.
Porn artists.
It's fine unless they're underage.
Unless they're underage or they're hurting an animal.
The woman that just takes pictures of her cats.
Yeah. See, like, this is obviously during a time, and I've done this as well, where you take photos, and I remember I was taught photo processing when I was at college.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is slightly different. College, obviously, being it's the college that let's say the extra couple of years you can do from high school if you weren't good enough to go to university.
I mean, that's community college here.
Yeah.
Or you use it like I used it as a cheaper way to get a bunch of credits, so I wouldn't have to spend all of my money at actual university.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, so that's why I ended up doing film courses, because I didn't really do that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure what I want to do now. So
no, I only know I want to do this.
At least I feel very warm and safe here. So
yeah.
I did photo processing when I was at when I was at school technically, and got to do my own photos and things like that.
That is so rad. I always
Yeah.
wanted to do that. I remember friends.
It is also the most nerve-wracking
Oh,
and painstaking and time-consuming fucking thing in the entire fucking world, because you could do a whole roll of like 36 shots, whatever. I used to take like 3 or 4 different rolls at a time, and you would sometimes go in there and you'd have to process your film and stuff like that. Some of the film would just come out black,
wow.
and you were fucked. So I remember doing all that sort of thing. So I can kind of perfectly understand, I guess, the level of perfectionism that Cy is subjecting not only himself to this, and obviously his customers to, and also the business to. But certainly, I guess that is all kind of this level of perfectionism that's been going on for, I don't know, it's like 7 years or something, right?
That he's worked at the Save Mart?
Yeah, I think it's 7 years.
I thought it was like 10. But I mean,
Either
it's all
way.
the same. It's a long time.
It's been a long fucking time. He's, it's what leads him towards losing his job eventually. And
Well,
I guess,
no,
yeah.
I think specifically what is doing it. Well, Gary Cole doesn't like him anyway. He thinks that he's weird. And
Yeah.
he is weird, fair enough.
Yeah, he's
but
strange.
Every time the Yorkins come in, only the Yorkins, if they ask for a double set of photos, he puts 3 on them, and he takes that extra set for himself.
Yeah.
And he freakishly posts every single one of those photos on his wall in
Yeah.
his apartment. Mm-hmm. He's got a whole wall of their photos from the time that their kid was born.
Yeah.
And that's why he recognizes this mistress
Yes.
from that company softball
Yeah.
game.
And the
Weird,
thing is,
weird,
that
weird.
Will Yorkin from the off is already characterized as a bit of a dick,
Yeah.
like immediately.
He's distant from his family. He just
Yeah.
wants to get stuff done. I mean, obviously, he's got other things on his mind.
Yeah.
Vagina.
Yeah. And also, I kind of feel like he's maybe taking the brunt of, like, the family life as well. Like, he's the main breadwinner, and I feel like maybe he's just had enough of it all,
Yeah.
and he's not getting enough at home, so he has to look somewhere else. That sort of thing.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, that's
I guess we
usually
never see
how it
them.
goes with,
With adultery?
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never adulterated.
Well, no, I'm not saying I've adulterated, but that's...
I'm sure he has his own reasons. Maybe he fell in love. You know?
He's so two-dimensional, it really doesn't matter.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But basically, I guess, like, as we're kind of traveling down this line with Cy, and we're kind of understanding his thoughts and, like, how important he bears some of the things that he says, like a lot of, like, metaphorical musings and things like that. I mean, he's basically exhibiting classical traits of sociopathy, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, certainly it feels like he's very much above his station.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, the minute he loses his job and he's not able to get that outlet from the family anymore, he then is, like, ready to start fucking with things.
Well, he's absolutely furious at the fact that Will has destroyed what Cy's idea is of a perfect family.
Yeah.
So this is his perfect family unit. He thinks that he's Uncle Cy. Even
Yeah.
though these people do not know him, they recognize him, and at least they know his name, which is strange considering he's such a beige human being.
I mean, to be fair, that is... If you go to the same shop, like, most weeks and things, you will get to know some of the staff, and certainly it's kind of more towards, say, like, older members of staff, because they're not going to get another job after going to work the remainder of their working years at like, a department store or something.
Right.
You know, they're working out to the retirement. You might notice them, and they tend to be a lot friendlier than the younger ones.
Yeah, they
because
just want someone to talk to.
they just want someone to fucking talk to. So...
Yeah.
They'll work a little bit harder for you. The young ones are like, why the fuck am I here? Fuck you. Fuck your family. I don't give a shit anymore. You know? So we've all been there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think
Well, he needs
I
to
think that's not alien. That's not weird.
He needs to teach Will a lesson.
He needs to get him to help.
Yeah, because he's doing
Yeah.
bad boy things.
Because he's doing bad boy things. So Cy follows Will and Maya.
Yep.
Will picks Maya up in a convertible. Now, since Sai has lost his job, he's got like a camera with like a really big zoom on it.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest fucking, like it's insane. Like it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we see him in one scene taking photos of something. We're not aware of what it is. But this all takes place over one day. So he's following Maya. They end up going to a hotel.
Yep.
Prior to this, Sai has dropped off a roll of film at the Save Mart where he used to work. And Gary Cole's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Oh my God. Oh, I forgot about that
And
part.
then he's like, I calibrated that Agfa machine. I've done it myself. It creates the best prints in the state, basically. And I'm not going to lie, his prints look pretty good. Don't know how many stills photographers they had on this movie, but I think it like credited there's at least like 2 or 3.
Oh yeah.
But they all the prints look really good. Anyway, he drops off.
This is a plus 0.03 cyan. This is a disaster.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, there was a prior scene as well where it's like his level of perfectionism's like, he's like, no one gives a shit unless it's in the double digits, and all that sort of stuff. But he takes the film in, and then what Yoshi, who's the other tech who works there, took over Sai's job effectively. What we find out is that Sai has taken pictures of Gary Cole's, the manager's daughter, playing with her dolls on her front yard lawn.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm like, oh, okay.
And it's so creepy because he flips through the photos.
It's like a flip book, yeah.
And
it
the
gets
pictures
closer
are
and closer and closer.
And
yeah.
closer to his daughter's face.
So this is when the police get involved, and this is where we meet the detective.
Eric LaSalle?
Eric LaSalle turns up.
And
he's
Agent
good.
Coulson.
Agent Coulson. So,
from S.H.I.E.L.D.
From S.H.I.E.L.D. They then get involved. It's now becoming a police matter. Next thing we know is Sai's at the hotel where Will Yorkin and Maya Burson have booked into a room. And then there's this slightly convoluted way in which he gets them to cancel their room service, finds out their room, reimburses the room service, finds out where their room is, and then he ends up going there, but he checks into a room himself. It's a little bit convoluted, and it didn't require the amount of time and effort in the storytelling to get us to that point, but basically all we needed to know was that he finds out what room they're in.
Yeah.
And he goes to the room.
Yeah.
Right?
What does he put over the
glossy.
What is it called? Peephole.
The peephole.
The peephole on the hotel door. Mm-hmm. He puts a little glossy sticker over the top.
Anybody who orders prints, I don't care if it's more expensive, you always order matte prints. You don't want the fucking reflections coming off of your glossy prints.
Huh. Well, see, I never knew the difference.
I work in film. If you shine a light on that stuff, it's just like, nah, you can't see it. If you do it in matte, much better.
I would have learned that if I had gone to photography class in high school.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was an option.
You don't have to, like, you can just look on your computer and be like, what's a good print? It's like, matte prints, fuck, yeah. And then you do it.
They didn't have all that Google searches back in the 2000s?
No, they didn't. Look, to be honest, me knowing that piece of information means nothing.
It means a lot to me.
Okay, well, that is lovely. I'm glad you're making me feel better. So, basically...
okay. I forgot.
He's at their door.
He's at their door, but he also, I forgot, when he left for his last day, he stole a big old deer knife, like a hunting knife.
It's a hunting knife,
from the Save Mart.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what he's going to do. And he knocks on the door. I think he says, like, room service, and waits until someone's, like, starting to come up to the door. And he's,
So everything that kind of gets us to this point... I would not say it's wholly original, and I wouldn't say it's wholly, like, interesting, because you can kind of get an idea of, like, what he's going, like, what you feel like he's going to do.
Right, but then how is that not original? Because what you think he's going to do,
that's the whole point. The whole point is us leading up to this whole moment is that once he gets into the hotel room, that's when all the bets are off. You're not really 100% sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So obviously he barges into the hotel room. Maya gets a fucking dunk on the head because he barges through the door and
Slams
smashes
it in
her.
her face.
Now, this is at the point. This is the dick scene. This is it. So, Will's on the bed. They were both probably in the throes of passion, watching some porno. There's some
Yeah.
porno on the TV.
Why not? Get that pay-per-view.
She's gotten up out, obviously.
Put it on the bill.
Put a robe on
Yeah, to answer the door.
to answer the door because she has to sign for it, according to Sai. And then Sai's in there, pulls the fucking knife out. She's bleeding from the head. Will gets up off the bed.
Yep, he gets up off the bed. He's naked.
Naked.
And that's Michael Vartan. And you do see him naked, full frontal naked for
It's like
half
half
a
a
second.
Yeah, it's maybe 2 frames.
Yeah, it's one of those pause, rewind, catch the frame type of dick scenes.
This is technically the first of those that we've ever done.
Yeah, I think most of the ones that we've done so far have been fairly obvious and really kind of clear.
Because this is episode 11, and this, like every other dick scene's been relatively quite pronounced.
I don't know.
10 was Sideways.
Right.
Yeah, Sideways was number 10, but this is number 11.
Right.
So this is the first
I mean, there's
one.
a lot of these. There's a lot of these in the world where you have to go back and you go, did I see it? Did I not see it?
Yeah.
I remember seeing this in the theater when it came out, and I remember seeing it.
Okay.
I remember specifically going, oh my God, that's a dick.
Yeah.
So this one has always been on my radar
Yeah, because I've seen this film
since almost 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, this film I've maybe seen like 20 times or something.
I used to own it.
Yeah.
I used to own it, but I always remember it. Like, there is a penis at the end of this movie. And it's funny because we've done a Robin Williams nude, but we have, and he's in this movie, but we're not talking about his dick.
No.
Luckily.
No. But I think it's
Just for his character. I don't have a problem with him naked.
Yeah. I feel like this is
it's
relatively quite important. The way that this whole moment is framed is because what ensues inside the hotel room is incredibly disturbing.
Oh, it's so scary.
Where he gets them to act out certain moments playing to the idea that, like, no, you have to pretend that you're happy. And he's like got the knife.
So he's threatening them with the knife, saying, when Will Vartan pulls up a towel to cover him up.
Yeah.
And Sai's yelling at him like, "Did I tell you to cover yourself? You only do what I tell you to do."
Yeah.
And but he never. I think he takes the towel down, but you never get like a full shot again.
No.
But he has them positioned in like kind of explicit, kind of what am I saying? Like positions.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want them to touch each other because he still doesn't want to sully his perfect family idea.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
But I think he just wants to punish Will.
Yeah.
For breaking up his family.
Pretty much.
Which is so wild.
It's disturbing. And it's gross.
It's so gross because it plays to one of my fears, which is that like invasion, like that invasion of your space, invasion of your home, which is the scariest thing in the world to me. Yeah. I mean, and then you're made to do things you don't want to do, even though they're not actually touching each other. He says something really foul to Maya, that's her name, where he's like, what does he say? Like, put it in your mouth. And he's like, don't actually touch it. I'm like, oh my God. She's like crying.
Well, he's like, he says, put his thing in your mouth. And then he's like, no, don't actually do it.
It's like so disgusting.
Yeah, and he throws the towel at her and he says, wipe off your face, you look disgusting.
Yeah, and she's like crying. Rightfully so, you're crying. This is horrible. That
gross.
Knife is
horrible.
very big.
It's horrible.
And it's a very, very quick one. I think you definitely see more of Maya. You 100% see more of her than you do of Michael Vartan. But it's an important, it's once again, you have that nudity to show someone's intense vulnerability.
Yeah. Like, this is an invasion.
Helplessness.
Yes.
And he is terrified.
Yeah.
You know, and he knows
Yeah.
this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He knows this guy. And
Yeah.
that is even scarier.
Yes, that's kind of
Someone you
the
see
worst thing about it.
all the time, and then he's in there with like a big old knife.
Yeah. But he's also someone who he has seen all of the time, but only recognized him when he had like that spare photo in that roll at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, right,
that-
because they had that extra photo on the roll, and he goes
I'll
to
just take
Nina,
it.
it's a shame to waste it.
Yeah.
Takes a selfie of himself, which is gross.
Well, it's like, yeah, what are you going to do? And they're like, who's this? And it's like, oh, it's Cy the photo guy. And it's like, oh, now we have a picture of Cy the photo guy. So,
Yeah.
like, to be perfectly frank.
And he has that fantasy that that the Yorkins had put it up on the fridge because they love him so much.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so...
He's so incredibly sad. And I guess, like, this is
Yeah.
kind of, like, how the film wraps up, because I guess from the way that we've spoken about it and we've kind of gone into it, this is a flashback film. So by the time the film starts, he's already been arrested for what ensues, right?
Correct.
And what we are treated to is an incredibly sad and stark depiction of a lonely man who's just found something he wants to attach himself to so he gets some level of purpose in his own life.
An empty, delusional, sad and lonely man
Yes. And when that all
with
starts
mental
to
problems.
yeah, when that all starts to break up and split away, he obviously has an episode, and it basically results in him committing this crime.
Right.
And I put that in inverted commas because it feels like by the end of the movie, Eric LaSalle's not particularly, like, he seems particularly sympathetic to the man, which I find slightly startling. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, we're treated to a very sympathetic view of Cy from beginning to end.
I don't know how sympathetic it is. I think it's really fucking creepy. I'm not terribly sympathetic,
No.
but you also get a dump of information at the very end of the film, which is very startling and odd. And also, I think that for Eric LaSalle, when he's expecting to develop that roll of film and see some nasty ass shit on it,
Yeah.
because he was, at least you thought he was taking pictures of some sexy acts or like pretending to be sexy acts, those photos are of little pits of the hotel, like the corner, right? It's just like the corners of the hotel.
Just details in the hotel
The
room.
toilet bowl,
Yeah.
the sink.
The toilet,
Like, he
the
doesn't
sink.
actually take any explicit photos of these people.
No,
There's
so obviously what he's done is he's taken a bunch of photos, but there's no film in the camera.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously what he's done.
That's what happened.
But the thing is it mirrors, because he gives a free disposable camera to the little boy of the family.
Oh, right.
And he takes photos of just like random knickknacks and stuff.
Yeah.
So when they go to develop the photos, it's like obviously a child's eye view of the world. So what you get when you look at all of these photos that Cy has taken in the hotel room is it's mirroring that child's eye.
That's really gross.
That's like, yeah, I know it's gross, but it looks like it's mirroring that child's eye, where it's all about the little insignificant details as opposed to like the bigger picture. But also, this is right after he's already said in the interview room about this very kind of stark, descriptive idea of, you know, they talk about your kids and you'd never abuse your kids.
Yes.
And he goes into this tirade about how there are people out there who would abuse their kids,
Yep.
who would make animals of them or make them do things that they didn't want to do, which is basically, I guess, like the final characterization of Cy just as an individual. And it's basically pointing to the fact that probably as a child, he was probably abused. That's what
by
I
his
get from
father.
it. Probably by his father.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, he basically says it, and he was angry because he had a bad father, and he didn't want the Yorkins' son to have a bad father.
Yeah, pretty
and that's
much.
what he was trying to punish Will for being a bad dad.
Yeah.
Obviously not in the way that Sai's dad was a bad dad. Or at least
Or at least that's what we're implying
Right.
from what we're seeing from the story.
So you get a little sprinkling of pedophilia right at the end of the movie, which I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah, I guess so.
I forgot about that since I
Yeah.
saw it last. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So there's definitely some stuff. I would say, like, I mean,
There is some stuff.
there is some stuff, you know. It's a very dark film. But I would say, like, I still hold this quite true in that it looks amazing.
Hell
I think
yeah.
it's very well put together.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the acting falls a little bit flat
I don't know.
in a way.
It's
but-
2002.
True. I mean, I don't think that's nothing. I don't know what that means. But then, like, it's definitely a lot of style over substance. But I do feel like the things that elevate it is obviously the cinematography, the music. I think definitely elevates it. And certainly, I think Robin Williams at the forefront, playing a character that we haven't seen him play before.
Yeah.
I think is spot on. So
Yeah.
I think those three elements just on their own, great. Fantastic.
Yeah, I 100% agree, you know, and it makes me a little sad that we don't have more Romanek films
Well,
to dig into.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like the conditions have to be right in order for Romanek to make a film. So
He's like, I'm busy, no thanks.
he's like, well, it's not that he's busy. It's just kind of like the wind needs to be blowing in a certain direction in order for him to be completely happy with going forward on something. And you know what? As someone who's always looking for that, I think that's perfectly fine. He should be a bit picky, you know, because that's the thing. I haven't really got too many problems with 1 Hour Photo other than a couple of things I just mentioned there. Like, that's it. I think the film's a really well put together piece of work.
I love a thriller, don't you? Love a thriller?
I do like a THRI LLER thriller.
I've got a couple of tidbits.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Wow.
So, the very first choice for Psy was actually Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
True story.
Wow.
He turned it down because he thought it was too similar to his character from The Shining.
I just don't know how that would work.
You want to see Jack Nicholson taking a shit in someone's house?
Oh, I haven't got a problem with that. That's always scary. But the thing is that, yeah, it's a very different flavor. Because the beautiful thing about Psy's character and what Robin Williams brings to it is because you're expecting a big personality, it's so incredibly understated.
Yeah.
It's just like really small and very quiet. And I really, really like that. You know?
Williams
But that's
would-
a very important thing just about, like, you've got these big actors who end up doing something you wouldn't expect them to be doing.
Yeah.
Which I guess works to a counterpoint as well, like Meg Ryan, and then The Cut. She did something that no one really expected, and it was trash. So,
Ugh, come on.
you know,
Keep shitting on In the Cut.
I mean, she could have got a better haircut.
That was bad color hair.
Anyway,
Bad color hair.
yeah. But so yeah, I don't really get it because I mean we spoke about Alexander Payne as well, and we talk about Schmidt and things. Like Jack Nicholson gets that role in About Schmidt anyway, you know what I mean? And that's a quiet Jack Nicholson in that movie in About Schmidt.
Right.
You know what I
I'm sorry, I
mean?
thought you were talking about like on a Psy level.
No.
And I'm
no,
like,
no, no,
good
no,
lord, no.
He gets well. The thing is, we've seen Jack Nicholson in those big psychotic
Jack
roles.
Nicholson's done everything.
Yeah, he's done everything.
He's done the sexy. He's
Wolf.
done the thrilling. He's done the action. He's
done
been
the-
the Wolf Man.
He's done the Eastwick.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
You
a
know,
sexy one.
He's the Joker. Did you see
Postman
the
always
Joker?
rings
Yeah,
twice.
yeah. The Joker. He's done the Chinatowns.
You ever dance with the devil in
Yeah.
the pale moonlight?
I can't wait. But the
Jack Nicholson is everything.
yeah. So he's
I
done
love
he's
him.
done all sorts. And I mean again even later, like he does The Departed and stuff, and that's even like
Cuckoo's Nest.
that's like another Nicholson that we'd never seen before. And it's
He's
like,
all over the map.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should think twice about it. Maybe they should have done an 1 hour photo with Jack Nicholson. But the thing is, that same year, because 1 hour photo is 2002. Out Schmidt was 2002 as well.
That's true.
He gets that nice, quiet, like understated sort of Jack Nicholson role,
That's
and
true.
I think he's very funny in that film.
Yeah.
He's hilarious because it's very low key, you know. So yeah, no, I think that's super interesting. Is there anything else?
Yes. Apparently, Romanek had tried to adapt J.G. Ballard's Crash.
Fuck no,
Yeah.
get away.
Yeah. Before Crony got it.
Yeah.
The other Cronenberg.
Well, I'm glad Cronenberg got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it would have been like, you know, and I'm not sure if we were necessarily robbed of a Romanek Crash.
Probably
but
just would have been
Crash,
artier
like,
than it already is.
Crash is so good. I'm talking about the Cronenberg Crash. I'm not talking about the other Crash.
No, the Cronenberg. Yeah, we're not
don't know
talking
who
about
did the other one.
the Paul Haggis Crash. Well,
No.
the Paul Haggis Crash is slightly different. I've spoken to Paul Haggis on Instagram. He messaged me one time.
Oh, what did he say?
He was asking about my photos.
Oh.
I was like, oh, thanks, man.
That's cool.
He's a good guy. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything bad about him because he did.
Let's invite him on the podcast.
Well, he did In the Valley of Elah. That's one of my favorites. I
Oh
love
my
that fucking movie.
God.
That movie's so good. Anyway,
I remember you made me watch that.
it's really fucking good. It's
think
got
I fell asleep
Big
in-
mumbly Tommy Lee Jones like going all the way through. It's really good. Looking for much there.
If there's a big mumbly Tommy Lee Jones in a movie, it's like
I'm
you're the
going
first
with it.
one that buys a ticket to the
Siege.
cinema.
Yeah. So, No Country for Old Men. Yeah.
What's that astronaut one?
Space Cowboy.
Space Cowboys.
Romanek's version of Crash, I think, would be fine, but then we would be talking about Crash, like a very different Crash, probably on the podcast, because I think it'd probably be a dick in it, because, you know, artful.
Yeah.
We'd then be like, oh, Cronenberg could have done Crash. You know what I mean? And we'd be
But
like,
Cronenberg didn't put a penis in Crash.
no, and he didn't need to, though. There is a lot of stuff in Crash already where it's just kind of like, oh, fuck. We won't cover it on the podcast. Maybe this is the time to talk about it now. But he, like, James Spader does fuck Patricia Arquette's leg hole.
Yeah.
So
It's a great movie.
it's a fantastic film.
I'm really sad we don't
Yeah.
get to talk about it.
No, but we're allowed to still talk about the things we love, even if they don't fall under this very specific bracket.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's
So
a
no,
great one.
I
You guys should
don't
watch
I don't
that.
feel that I don't feel that bad that he didn't get that opportunity, because then we'd be robbed of the Cronenberg, because I think Cronenberg's a much better fit for that film.
Yeah, we're going to do a Cronenberg.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, we are.
Can't wait. Yeah,
There's a
I
few.
like talking about Cronenberg.
There
like,
is
big
a
time.
few.
Yeah, no, he's phenomenal. Love his stuff.
Me too. And there aren't a lot of accolades. Robin Williams did win a Saturn Award for Best Actor.
Yeah, I remember there being quite a lot of talk around award season for 1 Hour Photo for Robin Williams, but that
This
seems
was-
to be the thing where actor does thing out of characteristic of what they've done before, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, oh, okay.
It was a commercial success. I think it was a $12 million budget, which is baffling.
I think, yeah, when you told me what the budget was, I'm like, it's all gone into the production design.
Yeah.
All the
yeah.
all the time seemed to have went into the production design and some baffling licensing stuff, where there's like very specific pieces of like merchandise within the film that are referenced directly, which really you wouldn't really fucking need to for the most part.
What, like that toy?
Well, he references Apple at least like once.
Oh, well, Mac.
There's that, yeah.
Mac
so the
or
Mac,
PC.
Mac or PC. Well, PC doesn't matter. Just personal computer. That's not a company. PC's not a
You
company.
can, what, you have
Apple
to
is.
pay to say Mac in a movie?
Of course it is. It's a fucking brand. It's a company.
Really?
Yeah. Same as there's a giant blurred out image of Warner Brothers in the mall in a Fox movie. So they would have had to have cleared that. And then also there's the
Orange
reference
Julius.
to, yeah, there's the reference to Neon Genesis Evangelion for some reason.
Really likes that toy.
I mean, it could have just been any toy. It could have just been a kid's toy. But for whatever reason, it's a direct... And also, fucking Dead or Alive 3's on a TV getting played.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's like a whole bunch of other... And it's just kind of like, okay, Like I'm kind of like, save some money by just not having that shit in there, you know?
Well, I wonder how much they had to pay Trent Reznor, because he did an entire soundtrack, a whole score.
Yeah, you told me about this.
A whole thing. And
This
then they
is
had
very-
it for the
yeah.
film and they didn't use it.
No.
And they ended up using it on a different album later on.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nine Inch Nails have made tons of music. And I mean, again, it's like Zacchaeus Ross and Trent Reznor. Well, probably their first film soundtrack that I remember hearing is Social Network.
Right.
And they also did
Yeah, he did.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's either soon after that.
Well,
And
I bet
they also did the music for, I don't know if they did the music for Zodiac. Maybe not.
Well, it seems like they're all very close. You know
Well,
what I
they did the
mean?
music for
Or at
Gone
least
Girl.
friendly.
Definitely did the music for Gone Girl. Well, the thing is, like, Fincher and Mark Romanek have done music videos for Nine Inch Nails.
Okay, yeah.
They already work in the cinema industry now anyway, because obviously moving on to doing soundtracks and things like that, like that's just a kind of natural progression for some musicians anyway. So either way, I would have been interested to hear what they did, and I think we can hear it. I'd be interested to see what they did for 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think the music's pretty key perfect for 1 Hour Photo. It feels unique to that film.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like you go, that's 1 Hour Photo. Same as like you hear that piano tune for Up, and you're like, that's from Up, you know, or that's from The Conversation, or that's from The Godfather. Either way, right? You're like, it all makes,
I
like
mean,
it feels individual to that film.
a lot of those got a little bit more obvious. I don't know about Up.
Yeah, the piano tune
Don't remember it.
from the first 10 minutes of that horrifically sad film.
Yeah, guess what? Never gonna watch it again.
Okay.
Not into it.
I remember getting drunk. I got drunk the night before, and I went to go see Up in 3D with my pal, and we just started crying.
Of course you did.
Yeah, of course we did.
I
Fucking
saw
fools
a
that we
picture,
were.
like someone posted a little picture of it on the internet, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and I scrolled really fast past it. I'm
Oh, it's
not
awful.
messing with that
It's
right
awful. Yeah, it's awful. But,
Life is hard enough.
Yeah, it's a 5-star film. It's a horrible thing to watch.
now. Well, speaking of ratings, so I'm gonna go first,
Okay.
and for
This is
the
1 Hour Photo.
1 Hour Photo,
Okay, good.
I'm not rating the dick scene in Up.
Old crinkly Pixar dick.
He's scrolling through his old pictures, pictures of his wife, and then a dick pic pops up.
Well, he's cranking one out.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, for my rating, for visibility and context, I think I gave it a 1.5.
It's very quick. Yeah.
And, you know, because it's not really there, I'm glad that it is there. I think I tend to be quite generous initially.
Yeah.
When I see one, I go, okay, it's at least a 2, because at least it's there.
Well,
And he's also an American man,
this
which
film's
is very difficult to get. I feel like just a genuine American man to get a schlong out in a movie.
you're going to find more of those dicks coming in European cinema for the most part.
Absolutely.
Or at least they're going to linger longer. But I would say this is also this is quite a soft R rating for this movie as well.
Yeah.
It's a 15 back home. There's
Okay.
not really any kind of elements that take it to an 18. So I kind of feel like
No.
there's probably a bunch of stuff that got toned down from the original script and from some of the filming and things like that, because there's not a lot of swearing, there's not a lot
No.
of cursing or anything like that.
There's not violence.
There's not really any violence, and I feel like because it's all implied, it's slightly different. It's like a threat of
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah.
That's why it ends up becoming this. But for the most part, it's that dick scene is cut very specifically so that you don't really see too much of it, and I guess that's maybe a ratings board thing. It might have been a little bit more explicit in his original cut, but who knows?
Well, yeah, especially when they go
Yeah.
back, when he goes, "Did I tell you to cover yourself?"
Yeah.
You know, there probably was more of that, because you get a lot more full body shots of Maya. And
Well,
then when you cut
see
back,
bush and boobs, they hold on that.
when you cut back to Will, it's in
Yeah.
a mid shot.
Yeah, and he's covering himself with a towel and things like that.
I think he drops it eventually.
He does. Yeah, he does. But for the most part, like, the rest of the stuff's seen from, like, the back, and like we say, like, you don't really kind of see anything. It's all kind of, it's all implied, and it's all kind of this very weird sort of theater of disturbance. Like, yeah. So no, I would agree with you. Probably would give it closer to a 1, because I didn't even remember it was there, and it kind of helps to context, like I guess, like, the tone of what that scene's going for. It kind of just adds another layer on top of where you're just like, ooh, it's just kind of like, it's just a bit gross.
Yeah.
So like I'm yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fine. I'm fine with that. It just doesn't take it that far, I suppose. I mean, I guess that's fine. It doesn't take it particularly far.
No, yeah.
Like
a
scene like that, you can take very far if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can tone it down just a little bit so it's more implied.
Yeah.
Which I sometimes prefer. You know, I feel like we've covered both sides of the spectrum that way.
Do you want to go with your overall?
So I mean,
rating?
I really like this film, and this film's quite influential to me, just in the way that it looks, its tone, and the music and things like that. And those are elements that I've taken forward into my own filmmaking. So I find it to be quite influential.
Right.
And I don't find the tone and the subject matter particularly disturbing. For a long time, I thought this film's quite an easy watch. And I guess that's maybe saying more about me as a person as opposed to anything else. But I find it to be quite an easy watch, but I don't think it's perfect. But I still gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. I
quite like the film, but I have some questions about some of the delivery of the dialogue and some of the writing.
Okay. I don't actually remember what I gave it on Letterboxd, but in this moment right here live, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay, that's fine.
Because my 3 is right in the middle where I like it. And I liked it a little bit more than just liking it.
Yeah.
And again, I think Robin Williams is awesome. The movie creeps me out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot that we didn't talk about, but we don't have all the time in the world. You could just watch it, but you should watch it. I would recommend that people watch it. I guess that was what I was getting to. I'm sure you also would recommend.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
Yeah. Rate, review, subscribe. We always appreciate it. And again, if you see a penis on the television in a film, send us a message. It's always helpful because I'm just putting this website together by myself.
Yeah, hopefully in a piece of medium. Don't just send us links to porn.
Oh God, do not do that.
Yeah.
Just tell me what the movie was.
Yeah, just tell us what the movie is.
Tell me what the movie is.
Don't videotape your husband doing something funny on the TV and then send it to us.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I will
report it to the police. So, because it's really not worth it.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for chatting with me today.
Yeah, I don't know who else you would have talked with.
Yeah, fair enough.
About this one, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, thanks again for listening, everybody. Coming to you from the photo booth at Save Mart, I've been Laura.
I've been Ryan. Photo processing station. It's not a photo booth.
I don't know.
Someone's taking photos at the Save Mart. They're taking their photos to get developed the Save Mart. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
Remember to always switch up your photo processing locations so you don't get a stalker. Thank you so much, guys.
Yay.
Bye.
Solid advice. It's just they're made at Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
The fuck were you looking at behind me?
What was I?
Yeah, what? You were looking at something behind me.
It's my sixth sense.
Okay. Yeah, don't do
it's
that.
A ghost.
Yeah, don't do that. No, don't do that.
It's the ghost of Gary Coleman.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Fucking scared the shit. Like, there's nothing that'll scare me or put me off anymore than you, like, looking above my head. And I'm like, is there something fucking behind me? Because the thing that's behind me is a fucking wardrobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what. There's someone in there.
Maybe.
Oh, whatever. End my life. Fuck this. Fucking hell.